So, hey folks, what's going on? Welcome back to the Spotlight DMV. I feel like I haven't been with y'all in a while, and I am so excited for the guest that I have today. Let me tell you, this dude got some things going on, and I'm so excited that I met him. So, I want to introduce Carl Gray, visionary of Prototype Consulting and of Launch with Carl. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here. Yes, it was amazing how we met, randomly, but it was really, I think it was, God sent indeed.
Listen, I was trying to remember how we met, and I know it was on Facebook, but I
hmm
don't I don't know how we started communicating, but I remember that you told me about a meeting for the Blue Line Corridor development that was going on, and that's where we met in person after
hmm
we had communicated online about some of the things going on with the county and whatnot. And so that's what I know you as, someone that is involved and engaged with Prince George's County and the things that are happening here. Um, so listen, this podcast is not just for people that are in Prince George's County, but I am a huge advocate for the county. So anytime I have someone else on here that is from the county that is also a strong advocate, I want to highlight that as well. So tell us about your background and why you are such a big advocate for our county.
Well, I was born in the district, as we all, most of us were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Born in the Northwest, and moved out to Prince George's County as when I was young. My mother felt it would be a better environment. After, my dad went away to prison. She wanted to be in a better environment. So we ended up in Landover after a couple of moves. And so I graduated from Parkdale High School. But, while there, I got involved in a lot of different stuff. So I was the head of the drum line. So I'm a drummer, right? I was the head of the drum line. I was vice president of SGA. I worked on, all these different things. I was on PGRAS, which is the Prince George's SGA, and MASC. And so it just kind of developed, a love for my people, honestly, and even growing up in my church, my pastor, she's always advocated, love for our people, even as Yeshua said, here for the people according to the flesh. And so that's always been something that has been ingrained in me.
Yeah.
Right. So when I went away to school and I went away to college, I went to a black college, right? But I could
What
only think of
college? Where'd you go?
I went to the Hampton University.
Oh,
In
okay.
Virginia.
See, I thought I felt like I knew it was Hampton, but I thought you was gonna say something out of pocket. So I was waiting to see if you was gonna say that other name that people be trying to call Hampton.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. But yeah, so now I'm a true Hamptonian through and through. But even while there, I worked on campaigns here in the county. So I started off with a gentleman named Darren Swain, and I worked on I worked on a coordinated campaign with Joanne Benson and Victor Ramirez and all Andre Fletcher Harrison, all these folks, and so that really got me involved in the county, involved in, county government, just county happenings and things like that. Mentored by a guy named Irvin Reed, got brought on by Gary Murray, who you've met, who, is very affluent in the county. And so, in being and getting involved and knowing the different ins and outs of what was going on, even in my early 20s, it was like, look, this is home to me. I really don't want to go anywhere else. Not because I was afraid to go anywhere else, but I felt like this is a place where I can, grow and thrive.
Yeah.
And so even once I got out of the political game, I went to work for a firm that was called, at the time, was called Thompson, Cobb, Basilio and Associates, which was the largest minority consultant firm in the country. It was based in Washington, D.C., but their president, Ralph Basilio, very affluent in Prince George's County. So, it just kind of continued there. And even the relationships that I had, from the politics came into play in the consulting world, and like just keep growing here, so just never wanted to leave.
Yeah, and I feel kind of similar as far as not wanting to leave. I feel like we are very fortunate in this area to be surrounded by other Black people and people of color that are doing well.
hmm
Because when I travel to other places, and it's just not the same, right? And for a long time, I didn't even feel like I could live anywhere else. Like,
Right.
I can't, and I can't live over there because there's not people like us and people that you see that are successful and that are doing well, and just the robust middle class.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that a lot of what you're saying too is how that that resourcefulness and that background and wanting to be engaged comes about because you see other people that are doing it and they mentor you through that, and
Hmm.
they just pass down to you that this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be engaged and concerned about the happenings in your community and knowing what's going on and speaking up for the things that you want to see. Like, you, regular, everyday Joe citizen, you have a voice, you
Yeah.
know? And so I think for over the summer, when you put out the Young Entrepreneurs Boot Camp, because I had met you and I heard you speak, I was like, oh, I got to be a part of what he has going on with this program. But we're gonna get to that though, because so this program, it's about mentoring young people, high school
Hmm.
students, to open their mind to entrepreneurship. And some of them already even were entrepreneurs, but this helped put some structure around what they were doing. But I want you to also speak about your other business, Launch with Carl, because I feel like then that takes us into you starting this boot camp, right?
Yeah, it definitely
Tell us
does.
about yeah, tell us about that.
So, Launch with Carl is where I help small businesses start, launch, grow, and scale. So, again, as I said, I worked for the consulting firm for years, and so that put me in the place to be able to be in a lot of different organizations that normally we just don't get to see. So, I did some control work and consulting for Marriott. I helped to write the IT strategic plan for the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency for the United States Treasury, which is what controls the banks going back and forth. It's akin to the FDIC. I did some audit mitigation, and kind of restructuring of Detroit public schools. I mean, so these are the type of places that I work. And what I learned in that time, that there are so many strategies and things that go on inside of these companies that small businesses have no idea what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be from the RFP process to knowing, what you need, marketing, sales, just structuring things in particular, even personnel, outsourcing, all of these things that we just don't know happens a lot of times. And so my heart and my desire is to bring that home. And so Launch with Carl is really, my thing is anybody can start a business. Starting a business means, hey, I'm gonna file something and I'm moving. But launching requires propelling. It
Yeah.
requires energy. So that's what I bring. So I use the formula that I've used to start every business that I've ever started in the green, like, or the black, which I want people to say. I never start with debt. I never start in a hole. I always launch businesses first. And so I have a program called 4 Days to Launch, in which you can, a course of 4 days, whether it's 4 days in a row, one day a week for 4 weeks, however people decide to do it. It's an automated course where they can launch a business, any business, with a profit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how. So I created that because so many times I would see people struggling. I'm like, just do this. Just do this, and they
Yeah.
would jump in my inbox. People, or they would post something. If you were posting this struggling, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna give them a tip. And so, the great Zig Ziglar said, "You can get anything in life you want by helping others get what they want." And it's not even about the focus of getting what I want, but I really have a heart to help other people. Even the young people. It's like, look, I love business. I don't listen to music anymore. I'm a musician. And I played on some of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest stages. And I don't listen to music at all unless I'm out somewhere where music is playing. But in my home, in my car, there's always a podcast playing. There's always an ebook, audio book playing, whatever it may be. That's what I do. And so I say, hey, like, I've gone through this. I've taken, $25,000 of consulting. I've spent hundreds of $1,000s on training, and development, so that other people don't have to. And so,
Yeah.
even doing it for the young people, it's really the same. I'm like, look, there's nothing that I started in my 20s and 30s that they can't start now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what you said about being able to launch in 4 days and it being an automated course. And right now there are many people out there that have programs that are similar. But for me, like when I myself I've been searching for a mentor and a guide in how to not just start the business, right? To launch it and be successful. And let me tell you, nothing will humble you like meeting with a financial advisor and you have to tell them you currently don't have any income coming in, but you have a like you're
Right,
not generating income, but you have a business.
right. Very humbling.
Yes. And so for me, working with you side by side, not just hearing you talk about what you can do, but seeing you actually do it, and not with adults. You did this with high schoolers. And so let's get into it. Now
Yes.
we did the Young Entrepreneurs Boot Camp, and that was at the end of July, at the end of June, sorry.
Mhm.
And it was for 9 days total. And you worked with Prince George's County Public Schools to have this program. They sponsored it, and there were 50 some odd high
Mhm.
school students that signed up that are Prince George's County students. Because Prince George's County sponsored it, they got to go
Right.
for free.
Exactly.
Yes. And so first I want to say the reason how I got involved. And the funny thing is, so Carl had been posting about this program and marketing it. And every time I saw it, I would send it to all of my friends that had high school students, or, people that might know people that could partake into the program, because I read over what they were going to be doing. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great for a young person that has an idea, or has already put some things together and just
Mhm.
needs some guidance. And it's free. Like, who can't accept free help, right?
Right.
So I said to myself, I want to be involved in this program. Like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but we'll see. And I put that out there. That was my manifestation. And so I was marketing it, and then I saw that you said you needed help with coordinating the lunches. And I was like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could coordinate the lunches. And so that's how I was able to participate in the program. And I was able to see with my own eyes how you and two other coaches were able to guide these students after the whole program was 9 days. And the ninth day, they put on a Shark Tank like
Mhm.
pitch competition. And when I tell y'all the level that these students were speaking, any entrepreneur could take this program and be able to speak like that. And this was after 8 days. And so tell me first, how did you, like, what even made you want to do this?
So it actually started last year. Was the first time I did it. It was during COVID shutdown type stuff, and people needed things, and it was actually kind of coming out of it. But it was like, hey, I can. So it's based on my book, The 7-Day Business Plan, which actually had not even been published yet, but it had already been written. And so I decided, to just do it because I was already doing an ethical hacker camp, because I'm an ethical hacker as well. And so I said, you know what, I'll combine the two. So if they want to do both, they can do both, or one or the other, all that stuff. And it was very successful then, but it was all online. It wasn't it wasn't as many students at that time, but it kind of it sparked something in me. I was like, wow, this is really working. I had even during the time it happened, I had two deaths of two young people in my life, my
Oh,
niece and
wow.
my goddaughter. So it was even cathartic for me to do this. And even at that time, the finalists of it were all young ladies, right? It was crazy. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow. So it felt really good. And even one of them got hired to write a business plan for somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it just so happens that two people who are part of the work for the CTE program in the county were two of my judges, Miss Danielle Carter, Miss Bridget Gillis Cruz. And as it was going on, they said, Carl, we need to have this in the county. We need to have this in the county. And so they really advocated for it to happen. And so I wrote a proposal, and everybody liked it. And, we jumped right into it. But it was something I'd really been looking forward to. Because I do believe the children are our future, and we must teach them well, and then let them lead the way. But the best way to get them to lead the way, of course, working backwards, is to teach them well. And
Yes.
one thing that I noticed, I am the chairman of the board of the Business Manager Finance Advisory Council for the county as well. And one thing that I noticed, and this is with most things scholastic, is that a lot of time the practical knowledge isn't always there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of theory, a lot of vocabulary and things of that nature, and not as much doing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that the focus of the camp was primarily doing. Yes, there was some vocabulary. Yes, there is some theory, but it was really understanding what does it take to run a business. We had them watch Shark Tank every day and critique what they were doing. We didn't spend everything that they did. They had to. It was practical. They had to write these things down and create it themselves. We're saying this is what you're creating. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to sound like. So go create. And I think that being the focus helped it out a lot. Like there is no test, there is no quiz. The final is your presentation, and
Yeah.
your presentation is yours. And everything every day, I would remind them, you are the CEO of your company. That's one reason why I didn't have them call me anything but Carl. If they wanted to call me Coach Carl or Mr. Carl or Mr. Gray, whatever, I allowed that. But I said, I don't outrank you in your company. And I
Mm.
want you to understand that you own this. You are responsible for the success of the program. And most of them caught that immediately, like, oh wow, okay, yeah. And they really took ownership of it. So even what you saw, yes, it was our training, but it was their ideas.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't tell anybody what they should be selling, what they should be making, what they should be creating. We asked, questions to get them to, further and better massage it so it's more presentable and palatable. But it was never one of those, nah, you should be making this. No, you should be, never happened.
Yeah. And that's what I like too. Y'all gave them space to be themselves, right? Because I feel like when you're in school, they teach you things a certain way and how to be and how to do it, and you have to talk like this, you have to be like that. And yes, to a point. But then there also has to be some space to breathe you into your
Mm-hmm.
own thing, right? And so that's what I liked. Like you and the other two coaches, we had Coach Crystal and Coach Josh. They were both excellent as well.
Yes.
And what y'all did, y'all gave them space to be themselves, but also guidance, right? Yes, this is what you're talking about, but let's break that down. Let's break it
Mm-hmm.
down and answer these questions. And so, what are some of the things that they learned while in the boot camp?
Wow. So they discovered how to actually map out a product and service, not just say, hey, here's what I do, but talk about what everything that goes into it, the inputs and the outputs. Develop a target market and avatar where they're actually speaking to one person when they're creating their marketing materials to make it really tight. Because if you market to one, you can market to many, but if you market to many, you market to nobody.
Yep.
And so, we taught them that. They learned pricing structure, like actually how to go research, put in pricing, make sure they're ensuring that everything has a good profit margin in it. How they're going to market, how they're going to sell. They looked at profit margin, supply chains, all of that. And like you said, in 8 days, which was
Mm-hmm.
amazing to me, as well, to be able to do it. And even as you said about the freedom and leverage and latitude that they had, like I told them from the very beginning, this is not your normal class. So like some would sit at a desk, someone to sit in the back, someone to sit on the table. I'm like, look, as long as you're not disturbing anybody else, I don't care.
Right.
Get up, go to the restaurants you want. We had snacks in the room. If they had a question they could ask. We again they critiqued each other. They went back and forth. And one of the reasons that I hired Coach Crystal and Coach Power was because I had to think in my mind, if I had to choose, if I had a daughter, right, and they had to be in the mountains for a week with no cell phone service with somebody, who would I trust? And I trust
Oh,
both of them that much.
love it.
Because we are dealing with, not only is this quote unquote my baby, but we're dealing with other people's children. And I understand they teenagers, they think they grown and all that kind of stuff. But and I actually do treat them like that. But when it comes to protecting them, that's something that's very serious to me. So really, really shout out to them. They were very, very trustworthy. They're two people who I've known 20 plus years. So it was more about that piece than even, what maybe their history had been or anything like that. But even though both of them are very accomplished individuals, but it was really about the being able to trust. And so glad that you came on as well. As you
Yeah.
talked about, you were a godsend. Okay, it was like I was like, yes, I can actually not worry about this because one of the biggest things that they would ask, even when I went into the classroom to promote it, was, "What's the food going to be? It's going
Oh,
to be
they
cat
funny.
food." They didn't want. I said, "It's not going to be cat food. I promise." And you came in every day. There were some real special requests that were very interesting and off the wall, but those were handled as well. Without a hitch. And the kids, they loved the entire process of it. Some people say, "I just come because I heard we got good food."
But see, listen, and let me tell y'all, okay, because maybe that was the reason that they came. But this was an intense program. It was 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, and 30 minutes for lunch. And these students, they did not, after the pitch competition, they wanted more. They
Yeah.
they were like, so what? It's over now, and that's how you know that it's something that is valuable when they are asking for more. And not just that, like you said, the timing of everything. They would have had to gone home to do this research to look up, pricing and cost of ingredients or whatever it is that they needed
Mhm.
to create their business. Like, this is not just you go home and you're done. You have a whole booklet that you have to go through and be able to answer the questions.
Yep.
It was intense.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it was, and I think part of it was that we raised the bar of expectation
Yeah.
for them. I didn't know where they came from. I didn't know anything about their past or where they were. Of course, we did a questionnaire and things of that nature. Some of them, expressed different things, and they expressed some real personal things, which was very interesting. Even that, like, oh wow, some people are really crying out and reaching out for help. Um, but just to, but everybody came with the same expectation. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
run a business.
Yep.
And I think that push is what got them in there. Because if initially the first day, there were a number of them that were kind of shy, holding back, not sure, very unsure of themselves. But one thing that we never did, we didn't coddle that. We didn't say, "Oh, it's going to be okay." It was none of that. It was,
Yeah.
"Hey, you still got to do it." Like, and Crystal and Josh, Coach Power, Coach Crystal, they get on me because they say I'm the mean one. I mean, I'm kind, but I'm not the nicest person in the world. I'm very no nonsense. I'm very cut cards. That's just how I am. How
Yeah.
I speak. I do care, but I care more about results than I do feelings. And they're like, "Carl, I don't care about nobody's feelings." I do care about people's feelings.
Well, I will say though, I mean, I know you describe yourself like that, but I feel like you're fair, right?
Right.
You're not saying things just to be saying and to be passive aggressive and that type of thing. You're saying what needs to be said so that people can rise to the occasion. And that's what
Right.
I like about you, because then it's not just one way either, because you're open to the same type of feedback as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So, I think, how else are we going to grow, right? We got to be open to that and be able to push past. Listen, you about to take me down a whole nother road because you talked about feelings, and we got to start pushing past these feelings,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like, there's still work that needs to be done. I understand you feel a certain way. We got to get this done. Like, push through it.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's one thing that I noticed the most. And even throughout the school year, I've been going to like I did a boot camp at Potomac, a market day boot camp at Potomac, and what I learned was that the students oftentimes are not used to having anything put above their feelings. Like, everybody wants to make them feel okay, feel good, have a good self-image, and honestly, I desire the same thing. But
Hmm.
I feel that success brings that more than anything. Like,
Yeah.
being a success, accomplishment, having something to put your hands to, and it being and having a good result will make somebody feel better than any pat on the back, any rub on the shoulder, any
Yep.
coddling, or any like just appeasement. Don't appease. Give somebody success, and they'll be happier than anything else.
Yeah, I actually just listened to a talk, and that's exactly what they said. You build confidence by winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get the
Yeah,
esteem and the confidence, by winning.
yeah.
So yeah.
Part of our ethos when we in our entrepreneurship program is constant achievement boosts confidence.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so that's why every day, um, every time we come together, there's something that they walk away with that they've done. Everything is a milestone. It's not even just, and because we, one thing that I've even learned, having gone through the school system myself, is so much is put on the end goal, right? And a lot of times, you think about, I gotta wait 12 years for this to pay off. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real here. They need something along the way, to give them some type of achievement. And for some people, grades aren't enough. For some people, a ribbon or certificate is not enough. They need to say, this is something I have that I can use. And so that's who our program is really designed for.
Yeah, and I love that. I love what you said about helping them be able to break down the goal, the larger goal, into something smaller,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that we're talking about here too. Because let's be real, everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur, but these are the skills that other entrepreneurs are looking for when they're looking for people to work with, for people to hire for projects, for people to work a 9 to 5. They want someone that has an entrepreneurship mindset that can run their role like
Mm-hmm.
it's a business. So these are skills you can put to use whether you have your own business or you're working for someone else. These are life skills that are needed, and we're instilling this into our youth before they even get to college. Like, they're ahead of the game. And that's how it's going anyways in schools. Like, you go to preschool and they expect you to know certain things now, whereas before they would teach it to you there, but no, now you got to come in knowing things. So I think this is a great thing. Now let's talk about pitch day, because when I walked in on pitch day, I didn't know how y'all had prepared them as far as how they were going to present. And so over the 8 days, they come in dressed in whatever they're comfortable in, and it's 90 degrees out, and they got hoodies on. They got
Oh
hoodies
yeah.
on.
I was struggling. I just had a sports jacket on. I was, I wore a sports jacket every day. I'm struggling here. Y'all got on whole hoodies.
But so I walk in on pitch day, and these kids are, these young people, they are dressed for success. They looked good. They looked sharp. Everybody had on, clothes to make them feel comfortable to stand up in front of judges to present their idea. So tell us about the judges. Well, tell us about pitch day in general.
So pitch day was the one day they had to dress up. We do agree with being able to express themselves creatively while they're dressing. I don't like dress codes, period. Anyway, very rarely do I dress up, so I wasn't gonna force them to do it because I wasn't gonna be standing up in a suit every day either.
Mhm.
So it's like, hey, look, wear what you want as long as within Prince George County Public School dress code. We're fine with it. But the pitch day, we wanted everybody to come dressed up, just so they know that there's some days where it's necessary. So even I put on a suit.
Yeah.
Actually put on this. I was like, man, I got to put on the suit. I had to pull it out of the archives, and even had hard bottom shoes on. Like, man, like, I've been wearing Jordans every day, and now y'all got me wearing these. But they came in sharp. We let them know ahead of time what the requirement was, and every last one of them was good at it. They showed up, they showed out. And it was all them. Even the pitch day itself, we did not tell them how to pitch. We let them practice and all of that because they had to present in front of their fellow in a cohort. But we gave them a template of what should be in the presentation. But even that, it was like 91 slides, so they could pick which slides match what they did. So nobody's was cookie cutter, nobody's looked the same all the way across. But as far as them pitching and all of that, that was really all them. And even when they got any critiques that they got from the pitch the first day, the day before, they got from their classmates. They didn't get them from us. So they critiqued each other. Again, the whole goal of this was empowerment. It was really to empower them to recognize this. They are the future. They are not even the future. They're the now.
The now.
And they can do this now. I mean, a number of them have already actually gotten into starting their businesses. Like, Charity, she was the youngest one in there, one of the finalists. She's already starting her photography business.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I'm giving her
awesome.
one of my cameras. I'm a photographer too. So I'm
Yeah.
actually giving her one of my cameras to be able to do it, and letting her go forward with it. Of course, with her mother's permission. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of like that's what it was really about. Them having the latitude to understand what's appropriate, what's necessary, what's needed, and really, run their business. And even as you shared about how businesses like these skills because they want people to be able to take ownership of something.
Yes.
And that's what the entrepreneurial spirit is. It's being able to take ownership of whatever task you have. And I didn't get a chance to tell them about this, but I'm in the next program I will. But there's this thing called entrepreneurship, where you literally build inside of a business. That's how I actually built the cybersecurity arm of the firm I was with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was given permission to just kind of go get the training and build it from the ground up inside of another firm, which allowed me the experience in the safety of having a regular paycheck to learn how to build.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and then regarding the feedback from their cohorts on pitch day, we also had the judges. There were 11 judges.
Yes, more than I expected. Some people became judges that weren't necessarily scheduled to be judges. Like, oh, you're a judge now. Ran out of papers.
And it worked out well though. So we had who did we have? I didn't know everybody that was up there.
So neither did I. Of course, we had the president of the Prince George's County Chamber of Commerce. He was there. We had representation from the county executive office. David Sloan, director of public policy, he came through. One of my mentors, Mr. Gary Murray, actually had him do a keynote speech as well at the very beginning to welcome everybody and let people know, he's one who came from, Washington, D.C., went to McKinley Tech and built $200 million businesses, and actually he and I are partnering on some things to help entrepreneurs in the county as well, called the Next Level Mastermind. Then we had a number of teachers from Prince George's County Public Schools. We have people from the Bowie Entrepreneurship Center. Who else? We had Chemo Bentley, who actually has started. She started her skincare business because her daughter had eczema, and it grew into a 7-figure business now on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
She's been on Essence. She, her story is great. Actually, I did an interview with her on my podcast, and hearing her story, it's amazing. So bringing all of these people together, Keith Wright, former NFL player, who's now an entrepreneur. All of them being in the room to support this, and give their input. And all of them were just so engaged. They really, really, really enjoyed. Cynthia Bowie of Bowie, Maryland, who's helping to start a lot of the farming activities here, so we have self-sustaining food and vegetation. So all of these people came for these children, for these students, and it was great to see it. This was not like just just some rinky-dink people that came. These are successful folks,
yes,
who have built their own business, who know what goes into it, and most of them didn't even want to leave. Like they said, "Well, I can stay for the beginning." They didn't go anywhere.
They all stayed. Yes, yes. And when I tell y'all, like, they didn't look at this as these are just high school kids. They asked tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to know the numbers. They wanted to know what's going to be the profit. They wanted to know how long is this going to take for you to implement. They asked all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
And that's what impressed me, because a lot of the students were able to answer. They were able to answer, and some of them very vivacious, able to really articulate their ideas and stuff like that. And I think that some people learn that it's more than just being able to articulate the story of your brand. You have to know the numbers.
Yeah.
That is an important piece to the story as well when you're creating a business that you want to be successful. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, indeed. I'm so proud of them People keep still talking about it, and so that's one of the reasons why we have to move forward and do more with it. Because normal, people know business plan, that's really just the beginning,
That's the
right?
beginning.
Unfortunately, sometimes in again scholastically, that type of stuff is the end, it's the milestone. But we wanted to be the beginning of it, and launch and propel them forward.
So before we get on to how you're going to expand it, what did the winners of the pitch competition end up getting?
So it was supposed to be one $1,000 prize, and two, second and third place was supposed to get the LLCs paid for. Um, but what happened was when we looked at the final numbers, I was working with Golden Child Management, who did the day of coordination, and she tallied up the numbers. And first and second place were less than 200ths of a vote apart. I mean, 200ths of a point apart. And I was like, this is too much of a too close.
Yeah.
It's too close. Like, to for it to be such a drop. And so what we did was I said, okay, I'm gonna make an executive decision. I didn't talk to anybody. This is CEO. So I said we're gonna have two first place winners, plain and simple. So we ended up doing two $1,000 prizes, and one company. They're actually starting a school organization, so we're going to give that money to the school to be able to fund it while they do it there. Even though I do want to encourage them to start a nonprofit out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really, really, really good, and so they earned it. And they, what was crazy was one of them. The two first place winners were completely different when they first walked in the door.
Yes.
The first one, as soon as he walked in the door, because he was in my cohort, he said, "Hey, give me that stack because I'm gonna win this." I was like, "For real?" I'm sitting there like this. Oh, that's how you feel, bro? Okay. He said, "Nah." He said, "No, for real. I'm winning it. Like nobody's gonna beat me." And then the other one, I remember meeting her at Crossland when and she said, "I have an idea." She has a very soft spoken voice. She said, "For people who have different dietary needs, creating like a dessert, desserts for them and dessert plan." She said, "Because I love it, but I can't eat everything." I was like, "Wow!" And the thing was, it was an amazing idea. She was really soft spoken, really held back, and things of that nature. But then, but they both came in first place, which just goes to show that the prize, like the scripture says, the race is not given to the swift or to the strong. It's not given to anybody. It's whoever earned it.
Exactly.
And so they pushed, and they both had to do all the work themselves, but they both came out on the end. So it's winners.
Yeah. So you had so much success with this program. Now you're expanding. Tell us about what your plans are for the future of the program.
So now what we're creating, and this is a massive endeavor. So anybody who wants to help participate, sponsor, vend, we need you. It's actually a incubator. So it's not just a business plan. So we're doing an incubator and mastermind program throughout the school year. So it'll still be based on the school year by dates, but it's going to be, where they actually start off launching the business. So they're able to make money throughout. I mean, because of course the program isn't free because it's not through the school system this time, but it is the opportunity for them to actually grow their businesses with the guidance of professionals. Really make money, because one thing that I've learned is, again, that constant achievement boosts the confidence. That's what's going to propel them. That's going to move them forward. So our plan right now is for it to start in October. It'll be on every Sunday and Wednesday. Sunday will be in person. Wednesdays will be virtual. And they'll be growing. They'll be discussing. They'll have, expert teaching. And, there'll be times where they're actually going out in the field selling. We're going to help them to standardize things. So many of them are on social media. They don't know about social media marketing. So we're going to have, experts show them, how do you standardize this? We're going to teach them the secrets of sales funnels, which most people don't even know about. And if they get it now, they'll be able to make millions very, very quickly. How to scale their business, how to actually get investors. So one of the things that we're doing is we're actually building an investment fund for this in particular. I'm actually going to be talking to talk to a very, very experienced financial advisor and investment advisor to help us to manage the fund. So it won't be managed by me; it'll be managed independently by a third party. But we want this fund to be there so that when they pitch an idea, and they'll be able to pitch an idea at any point. But if they when they pitch it to the board, and the board says yes, we'll fund it, they fund it.
Right.
And just as much, and of course they would get, and we would have different ways to do it, whether it be equity piece that goes to the fund, or is it a loan with interest, or whatever. However we decide to do it, the funds will be there because a lot of what they want to do requires money.
Yes.
And we don't expect them to reach down in their pockets when they don't even have a job yet. Because some of it's 5, 10, 15, $20,000, but why wait if we don't have to?
Yeah.
So the goal of this is to really position them to have thriving businesses. This would be some of the ways that they pay for college, some of the ways they pay for life if someone decide not to go to college. Like it's giving them the same experience that you would give to a young student who's good at basketball or football. I work with a basketball organization, youth basketball organization, and these students, these parents are paying $500 a week, for their students to get training and all of this, because in hopes of them getting to the NBA someday and being paid back, which we know most of that does not even happen. But with this, they have the opportunity to actually make the money.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, we're not looking for delayed gratification or anything like that. But that's why I call it the AAU of entrepreneurship, where we're teaching them the same things that they will learn in college, they will learn in the professional world, but we're doing it at a younger age where they have the opportunity, they have the bandwidth, they have the energy to actually get to have it built. And we're even going to use that, the fact that they're young people, as a marketing ploy. Like, just think about it. People will buy from children. They will buy from students. And the fact that they don't have rent means they can bring that overhead down. But we're going to teach them to still be high quality. It's like,
Right.
nah, we want you to be able to compete. We don't want you to rest on your laurels and just be like, hey, look, because I'm a kid, somebody gonna buy something from me. Nah. Like, we talk about DJ 2 Times and and DJ Dill, who they came, they did the DJing for the pitch contest. And I said, look, it's all you. I gave them the rules. I said, no profanity. I said, if I hear one cuss word, I'm cutting it off. They did an excellent job.
They did wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. They did great. And listen, so I just want to be very clear. The boot camp that we did, that was sponsored by Prince George's County Public Schools, and therefore it was free to Prince George's County Public School students. And now this larger program, the incubator mastermind, you said it's 8 months, right?
Yes.
The
It'll technically be the entire year, but the last 4 months of the year will be them, like more so working on their own, and just having the online piece of it. Won't be coming in person.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is not sponsored by anything right now, and so people are going to have to pay for this. And I loved that you compared it to AAU, right? Because I don't know about that life and what it takes. I've heard the term, but I didn't really know what it all entails. And so I love that comparison that, for people that love sports and want to do sports or whatever they choose to do, that people will pay for the training for them to possibly have a chance to make it into as a professional. But for this, you don't have to wait for a chance. You can start making money now.
Right.
You get your idea, you get the guidance, you get how to present it to get funding and be able to implement it. You can start making money now. You can pay for your college. You can do whatever you choose to do based on how well your business is doing. I love that. I love that comparison. That really puts it into perspective.
Yeah, and I believe that's what's most important about it. It is an investment. It's an investment with a higher guarantee of return than most. But of course, no one can ever guarantee results because it's also up to what the individual does. But I can guarantee they'll have the tools.
Yeah.
I can guarantee they'll have the support. I can guarantee they'll have everything that they need to make this happen. And one thing about it is I like to see it happen. Like I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So seeing success boosts me. I'm the type of person, I root for the winners. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
so so I like to see winning. I like to make winning happen. And even if we said it's not even about the personality type, because we had two different ones who came out with two great ideas that made it happen. It's really just the determination and the willingness to listen and follow what we say. We're going to give them everything that they need in order to be successful, in order to be profitable, even the opportunity to have investment capital to come into them. And I even teach them, pay yourself. That's not
Yeah.
even something that's like don't wait until a long time to think you got to bring in money. Now, if you want to reinvest it, that's cool, but make sure you write that check to yourself as
Yeah.
well to make it worthwhile to you. Otherwise, they'll get burnt out. But yeah, that's yeah. There is an investment. We're still working on. We're getting some sponsorships, so we're doing some scholarships as well. So there will be opportunities for that. But yeah, that's pretty much how we doing it moving forward. And so glad you're going to be a part.
Yes, yes. I'm excited to be there to watch this grow. Everything about giving back to the community and helping to to push forward and to instill in our youth at a younger age the things it took us having to go through. Y'all don't have to go through it because we're here to help you. That mentorship is it's what's needed. And what I also love too is that this program gives the tools, but also the connections,
Yeah.
and the connections people wise and the connections funding wise, as you mentioned. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so how can folks find out more about the program if they have someone that they know would like to be a part of it? How can people find out about it?
So they can visit youngentrepreneur.camp.net. We will be having an interest meeting on August the 9th in Landover, Maryland at the ASAP Development Center, where people can come through and they can, see you doing the whole presentation. They'll be able to understand, ask questions, find out about the scholarship opportunities, and all of that stuff. So we have that in place so that they'll be able to come and understand it. Because, just going to a website is a little bit rough, but they can come and see it. If they hear this after August the 9th, there will be a replay. So they go to youngentrepreneur.camp.net. Then they'll be able to see it there as well.
Okay, okay, great. And then if others want to donate, want to sponsor, want to also participate in giving back and helping on the program side, how can they do that?
So there is a sponsorship form on the website, or they can reach out to me directly. Email cgray@prototypeconsultinggroup.com, or you can find me on Instagram, Launch with Carl. Carrier pigeons work too. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we had zebras last year. We got cows this year.
You know?
Carrier pigeons will work.
Right, exactly.
Well, Carl, thank you so much. It's been the delight of my entire summer. I'm still talking about this program with everybody that I bump into, and they seem like this would align with them. I'm like, listen, I gotta tell you about this program.
Right. Hello. Yeah.
Okay, so before we go, is there anything else you wanted to let the people know?
Yeah, so I'm also doing some things for adults. I'm not just adults actually my real business, right? So if you need help starting, launching, growing your business, please reach out to me. Discovery at discovery.launchwithcarl.com. You do a free 15-minute assessment of your business. We can see, you walk away with some type of strategy. I always give a little buffer room because sometimes we go over that and I'm like, Carl, you need to be quiet, but whatever works. But I guarantee it'll be the best 15 minutes of your day. If you are in business and you want to grow and scale, visit nextlevel.launchwithcarl.com, where myself and my mentor, Gary Murray, who has built two 9-figure businesses and sold them both. We're going to be doing a mastermind in September where you can go. This is for businesses who are already in business and want to go to the next level. You definitely want to be in the room to hear his strategies, sit under his learning tree. He's actually even creating a mentorship program, but you have to be there to find out about it. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to go there. So again, that's nextlevel.launchwithcarl.com.
Yep. And one last thing, your podcast. You just started a new
Yes,
podcast.
I just
Yes, yes,
remember. Yes. So my
yes.
podcast, Friends with Businesses. Uh, you can go to friendswithbusinesses.net. Yes, I'm a .net guy in case you don't know. If you go to friendswithbusinesses.net, you can sign up and subscribe there. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all major podcast outlets, and minor ones as well. Just go to the RSS feed. If you want to be on there, want to be a sponsor, we've grown pretty quickly. We got 100 downloads in the first week.
Oh, wow.
So right,
Congrats.
really happy about that. Between there and YouTube, between the RSS feed and YouTube, over 100 downloads in the first week. So we're growing pretty fast. We have a lot of great things. Like we've already had someone who owns a cigar company. We actually have the owner of one of the largest food distribution companies. The Black woman-owned food distribution companies in the country. She's going to be our guest next week.
Mm.
This week again, we had Chemo Bentley. There's a lot going on. I'm dropping a special one from where we recorded. We did the Midnight Mastermind at the podcast summit, and I met these two dudes that have a military approach to credit repair. Everybody got to see that. Like I said, I was gonna put it on the schedule, saying, you know what, I'm gonna drop it early, so I'm gonna drop it that next Thursday. But yeah, like, subscribe. Likes are great, comments are better, subscribes are massive, and sharing is the best.
Yes, love it. So I'll have all of that stuff linked below, y'all, so y'all can connect with Carl. And thanks again, Carl. It has been my pleasure, and I'm glad to
As
have met
always.
you. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, indeed.
All right. So I'm going. And thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Spotlight DMV, where we're coming to you with people from the community talking about their lives, their passions, their business, or whatever it is they want to talk about. This is our history, our legacy.